So in today's presentation, Terra will introduce the different types of e-cigarettes and show how they're not safe alternative compared to smoking cigarettes themselves. In 2018, Surgeon General Jerome Adams declared an epidemic for e-cigarettes use among the youth in the United States. E-cigarettes are not necessarily new, but there are new types that have been developed and made the market more competitive and especially targeted towards youth. With that, I will turn it over to Terra and she can share her screen and take it away.
Hello, everyone. I will go ahead and start. How do I do this? Okay. Do you guys remember how to get out of the presenter mode or this mode?
If you click in slideshow up at the top. And then, yeah, do that one up the top, slideshow.
Gotcha. All right, guys, I'm gonna, like Shannon said, I'm the tobacco control health educator here at the Great Plains Tribal Chairman's Health Board. And I'm sure you guys have all seen an increase use of e-cigarettes and vaping. So I just kind of want to go over the different types of e-cigarettes and vaping and kind of see what you guys know, because what I'm finding out in my presentations is that the kids know exactly what e-cigarettes are and vaping is and all the products, but the adults and the providers do not know what all of them are. So I have this pre-quiz if you guys want to answer any of these questions in the chat box. You can go ahead. I guess my biggest thing is, do e-cigarettes contain nicotine? And how old do you have to be to buy e-cigarettes? Those are two big questions, especially for adults, and if they are safe. Okay, what are e-cigarettes? Vaping is the inhaling of vapor created by, do I have questions? Nope, you're right, Gypsy. They are not safer. They do have nicotine, and you have to be 18 years old or plus. Yep, those are right. I know online you do have to be, I think it's 21. They require you to be 21 to purchase them if you buy them online. E-cigarettes are battery-powered smoking devices. They have cartridges filled with a liquid that usually contains nicotine, flavorings, and chemicals. The liquid is heated into a vapor which the person inhales. And as you can see from this picture, there's different images of the different cigarettes, the different types of e-cigarettes. So while using an e-cigarette is often called vaping, the devices produce an aerosol, not a vapor, unlike vapor, which is simply a substance in a gas form. The aerosol from an e-cigarette can contain tiny chemical particles from both the liquid solution and the device. So when they're smoking the e-cigarette, when those aerosol or the juice or the oils, whatever they put in their e-cigarettes, when it goes through those heating coils, it creates new types of chemicals that are not yet known what they are. There hasn't been a lot of studies on them. Are e-cigarettes safer than regular cigarettes? No. FDA has not yet approved them because they are so new that there's none of research done for long case studies. And as you can see on this one also, there's different types of e-cigarettes, some that have the batteries and some that are rechargeable. Do e-cigarettes contain nicotine? Yes. When e-cigarettes first came out, there's only about 2 milligrams of nicotine, and now they are about 7 milligrams of nicotine in one pod. And I think the reason why this increased is because Juul hit the market, and they're a pretty big brand of e-cigarettes. And prior to them hitting the market, most e-cigarette companies only put the 2 milligrams of nicotine. And then when Juul hit the market, they had 5. So now these other e-cigarette companies are trying to compete with Juul by either adding more nicotine or the same amount of nicotine. How old do you have to be to buy? In most states, it's 18, but you have to be 21 to buy online. And I know a lot of states are trying to raise the age limit of e-cigarettes to 21. And then when you go online to try to purchase them, it just says, I am 21 and agree to be age verified. And their age verification is typing in, I believe it's a driver's license number in the state, so they can see how old the person is, which, I mean, any kid can grab an ID and use their parents' ID or somebody they know's ID to purchase these online. What is in e-cigarettes? E-liquid is a mixture used in vapor products such as e-cigarettes and generally consists of propylene glycol, glycerin, water, nicotine, and flavorings. While the ingredients vary, the liquid typically contains 95% propylene glycol and glycerin. So this is what this is just from a Google search. I Googled propylene glycol, and these are different products that contain it. And as you can see, there's like antifreeze here, just different items that, I don't know, they don't look great. Like, I don't think I'd want to put those into my body. And then propylene glycol is used by the chemical, food, and pharmaceutical industries as an antifreeze when leakage might lead to contact with food. The FDA has classified propylene glycol as an addictive that is generally recognized as safe. It's safe for like these things, but it hasn't been regulate or approved to inhale in an e-cigarette. So here's some more of the glycerin. You can see this is another Google search that I did, and it looks a little bit cleaner. I don't know if I'd still want to put that into my body though. When the ingredients of e-cigarettes are heated up, they become other chemicals, but we don't know what those chemicals are or what they can do to us. And so if you look at this image, you can see it just, this is the process that those vapes or the juice goes through. And you can see that it's heated up, and then that's how it's able to look like a vapor. And the FDA has not yet approved of e-cigarettes. The e-cigarette and tobacco companies have recruited lobbyists in an effort to prevent the FDA from evaluating e-cigarette products or banning existing products that are already on the market. Many of the flavorings, and I'm not sure how to say this word, are used in e-liquids that have been approved by the Food and Drug Administration for oral consumption, but not inhalation, due to the lack of research regarding the safety of these compounds when inhaled. So it's not approved to be inhaled, but it's approved to be ingested. Juuling. So Juul is a brand of e-cigarettes. It's partially owned by a tobacco company that owns Marlboro cigarettes. It started out containing more nicotine than other e-cigarettes, and all their pods contain nicotine. They have quite a few different flavors that are really appealing to kids, and they're different fruit flavors and stuff. But on this link that I have on here, which we can send out, it is an infographic put together by CDC, and it shows everything you could learn about Juul on there. And I know Juul has quite a few commercials out, and the commercials don't say it's dangerous. They just say, make the switch. But a lot of people who Juul, they end up, their nicotine intake is a lot higher than it would be if it was a regular e-cigarette or even just smoking cigarettes. So a lot of times juuling can be more dangerous than not. And it also doesn't let out a big scent or a big cloud of smoke like some of the other e-cigarettes do. So it's easy for kids to use the Juul product without being detected. And I know in the state of South Dakota, I've heard different teachers say that they're finding them charging in their computers at schools. They are dropping on the floor, and one of the teachers picked up and said, hey, you dropped your flash drive. Or they're also showing up in metal detector screenings. I know a lot of schools now are, you have to walk through metal detectors in order to go to school, and they're finding those in there. So the youth epidemic. Big tobacco companies and e-cigarette companies are targeting youth to use e-cigarettes. And these are just some, I think this one of the Vita Vape, I think that's a fake ad, but I do want to show you guys this video. This video is local, and the Chanli Coalition gave me permission to share it. And it's kind of an experiment they did in their community. So if you guys can watch this.
What? Do it magic? Are these all candies? Is this watermelon? I'm gonna eat these two. People try to bake people use it and make more money. And they're not like kids. A cigarette. I know what it is. Cigarettes? It's cigarettes. Yeah, I know cigarettes. I know what that one. Can I tell which one is which?
Yeah.
I figured that out. You're really smart. That's the reason we showed you this. Because we want to show you how they're doing it, you guys. If you're thinking that candy and cigarettes look like this,
So you have to stop sharing PowerPoint and share the other screen.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry guys. I didn't realize you couldn't see it. Let me figure out how to share this. Share. No, right here. Do you guys see it now? Okay, sorry about that.
What? Do you imagine? Are these all candies? Is this watermelon? I'm gonna eat these toes. People try to bake before they use it and make more money because they help the kids. What is this? A cigarette. I know what it is. Cigarettes? It's cigarettes. Yeah, I know cigarettes. I know what that one. You guys tell which one is which? Yes, that one is cigarette. I think this one is.
You guys want to figure that out. You guys are really smart. That's the reason we showed you this, because we want to show you how they're treating you guys. You're thinking that candy and cigarettes look about this way. But you guys aren't going to be tricked now, are you? You know better.
All right. So as you can see from that video, a lot of the kids that were looking at those products, and which includes e-cigarettes, they really couldn't tell the difference of some of them. And as you've seen in some of the other photos on my presentation, a lot of the e-cigarettes, they look trendy, they look sleek, they're cool colors and that type of thing. Some of the other dangers of e-cigarettes is a lot of them contain lithium batteries, to where they're blowing up in people's faces, they're blowing off, it looks like here, hands and fingers, and also burning down houses. So this is something that's very dangerous, and I don't know too many people that would want to take the risk of losing all their teeth or their hands from e-cigarettes, but some people do it thinking it will happen to them. When will we know that when will we know what e-cigarettes do to our long-term health? And I kind of think of e-cigarettes as the new cigarettes. So if you look back at these ads from the 20s and 30s, they're trying to make it look appealing, you know, making beautiful women or good athletes. They're showing them using these products, and we didn't know that it was really killing people or causing cancer or so many health disparities until probably the 70s. So it took 20 to 40 years for them to realize that cigarettes, tobacco, commercial tobacco was bad for us. And I think that right now the e-cigarette companies are taking advantage of this, and they are hoping that they can make as much money as they can until people realize the health problems that e-cigarettes are also causing. Because e-cigarettes can still let off secondhand smoke that you can inhale, thirdhand smoke. We don't know anything about the carcinogens or anything that those e-cigarettes are releasing. And have you seen your children with these? these devices, they are small and sleek, and it looks like I didn't finish that paragraph, but they're really good flavors. You know, they have like a mango and probably strawberry, pineapple, different fruits like that. And as you can see from the slide, it just slides right into the computer. They can look like a flash drive in their backpacks. You know, people, they're just small and tiny. They just don't really look like a cigarette. These are some of the areas that I go for my information. CDC has a lot of really great information, a lot of great infographics that I know you can print out and share. Tobacco Free Kids is also a really great resource that I use for different things. One that I forgot to put on here is the truth.org. I also like looking at that one for things. And then also I know that the Chonli Coalition, which is out of the Cheyenne River Sioux tribes off of their reservation, their coalition has a lot of information on their Facebook page, which I think you can look up. It's just Chonli Coalition, and they are constantly posting videos like the one that I shared. They share flyers, they do events, they do a lot of community engagement to get people educated about the dangers of not only commercial tobacco, but also e-cigarettes.
Thank you, Terra. Does anyone have any questions for Terra? Again, if you don't have a microphone, you can type them into the chat box and we will read them for you.
Now that song is stuck in my head.
We have a question. Will you share the slides with participants so that we can check out the various sites?
Yes, when we send out the link for the, I think it's a YouTube channel, we can also include the slideshows so that you guys can see them.
Yes, we send a follow-up email to all the participants in this webinar with the YouTube link to the recorded session and also, like Terra said, the slides. So if you are new to this webinar or you didn't get the invitation directly from one of our team members, if you could type your email into the chat box, that way we can easily get you the slides and the recorded session.
I see there's another question. It says, is Dueling the #1 e-cigarette? Which, yes, I think it is the #1 sold product of e-cigarettes. And other brands, I don't really hear about the name of the brands. You could see those mods, which are like the bigger thing, and it has a little cigarette on the end. I'm not sure which other brands, but Duel is the one that looks like the flash drive. And I haven't heard or seen of any other products that are shaped similarly to Duel. The other ones are pretty large and noticeable, and they are the ones that let out a huge puff cloud of smoke, and you can usually smell it. The Duel doesn't let out that big of a cloud, and a lot of times, I don't think any of them have a scent. I could be wrong on that one. But I have also heard of sweatshirts that Duel made to where people can blow the smoke into the hood, or it's like a reverse hood, and you can't see it. So if a teenager or somebody in class was doing it, they could hide it essentially in their in the classroom. And yeah, Duel has been advertising heavily on TV, and they're like, make the switch now, make the switch. And I think that making the switch from Juul to, or from commercial tobacco, like regular cigarettes or anything, switching to Juul is not a good option. I think that your nicotine intake would be heavier. In all the Juul products do contain nicotine, which is very dangerous and addicting. In some of the other e-cigarettes, they don't contain nicotine. So a lot of people just say they're vaping. They do it for the flavor, which is still kind of dangerous. Putting any type of chemicals, especially that you don't know about, into your lungs is very dangerous. Any other questions? We do have a couple of infographics that we have available, and we will have some new ones. Has there been any efforts to regulate in South Dakota? Not that I've heard of. South Dakota, the state of South Dakota has included e-cigarettes in their no smoking in public type of thing. They're working on, I think they've added it to their commercial tobacco regulations. The state ones did. The tribes, a lot of the tribes, I think Cheyenne River might be the only one that has any regulations on e-cigarettes. But I haven't heard anything from other tribes. I know that some of them are trying to update their smoking policies. I know the Flandreau Sioux tribe and the Standing Rock Sioux tribe both have added e-cigarettes to their no smoking policies. Yes, I think a lot of people don't know, especially adults, and that's what I'm finding from my presentations. And I ask the kids, I'm like, what are e-cigarettes? And the kids all knew. They knew what they would look like. They knew how much they cost. They knew how to get them. Sorry, I'm reading the comments at the same time. They know how to get them, but it's the adults that don't know what they look like. They didn't know that they look like a flash drive. They don't know what they look like. So, spreading this even to adults and people that are not smokers have seen this, and I think it's important for everybody to know what it is. I'm hoping that they do more with large, or with regulating e-cigarettes. I know with the large tobacco companies buying into these e-cigarette companies, it makes it really difficult to regulate because they have so much money, and a lot of them pay for the campaigning of different state representatives. So I know I think it's San Francisco was the first state to outlaw e-cigarettes within their city limits, which I thought was pretty awesome. Anybody else have any questions?
I am putting an evaluation link in the chat box before anyone hops off. If you can please fill that out. It's very quick and easy, and we would love your feedback. And thank you, Terra, for your presentation today. Like I said, we will be sending out the YouTube link as well as the slides. Again, if you are new to these webinars or did not get the invite directly from our staff, please put your email in the chat box so we can get that info to you. Otherwise, Terra and I will stay on for a little bit longer if there's any other last minute questions or discussion points. Otherwise, thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope you have a good day.